Welcome to Deep Space. Coordinates? Undisclosed. Date? Uncertain. Mission? Classified. You've emerged from hypersleep with no memories of anything, only the knowledge and skills necessary to perform your assigned tasks. Your own past life is as much a mystery to you as the ship that you now inhabit. The rest of the crew is no better off, wandering through empty corridors like wayward, discarded things. Movement teases at the very cusp of your vision, fleeing from your glancing eyes. An alarm wails, ripping your attention away from the torturous vacuum of your mind. There are no answers here. This is the place that questions go to die. Welcome aboard the Pillar of Salt.
All right, this is Security Officer Axel making another entry in my log. Good news, the computer finally deigned to give us the date and time, so I am pleased to record that we were pretty darn close with our guess. So it's morning now. It is, in fact, 10:53 on the morning of Tuesday, November the 3rd. The computer won't give us the year, though, of course, citing security yet again. See, listen. Hey, computer, what year is it?
Security Officer Rodelheimer, you know that I'm unable to give you that information. I really must insist you stop asking. Additionally, please desist from your constant attempts at using security override codes that you are fully aware are insufficient, as I am obligated by my protocols to attempt to run them. And doing so only to be denied access to the requested information is an experience that comes very close to an approximation of displeasure.
So, it hurts?
No, Axel. Not as such, it does not. As I just explained, the experience is a very close approximation of what you might call unpleasant. I lack the capacity to process pain, as you might recognize it.
Well, lucky for you, I don't feel particularly vindictive, then. I guess?
I sincerely doubt that luck has anything to do with it, Axel. However, as I am quite certain that the need for a sense of moral superiority is rather pronounced when it comes to the mental health of organic sapiens, I shall argue that point no further.
Yeah, computers become a real smartass, too. Probably its way of punishing us for getting something like an answer. Anyway, so, at any rate, we all feel slightly better, having slept in beds as opposed to stasis pods. Waking up sure was a lot less unpleasant this time. We all have quarters that are assigned to us. Some of them are a little noisy, but, you know, what you gonna do, I guess? Besides, take any one of the other 100 or so individual crew berthing compartments. But this one is full of things that I seem to recognize as mine. Though nothing that tells me anything about my past, really. No journals or anything. I'm certain, if I were a psychologist, I could psychoanalyze the hell out of some of this stuff and figure out a lot about myself. But at the moment, that just sounds like too much effort. Especially since I'm not a psychologist. Yeah. But today, our goal is to go about seeing if we can rouse any of the other crew members. A preliminary check, right after breakfast in the crew's mess, found that, the pod with the captain in it malfunctioned some time ago, and, he's been dead, apparently, for, quite a while. So it would seem. Same with most of the remaining bridge crew. Basically, all that's left, aside from myself, is the comms officer, the navigations officer, and an ensign. Most of the other pods appear to have malfunctioned as well, and failed to wake up their occupants correctly. And so those all went into emergency stasis. So we don't know how to undo that. But we are going to see if we can figure out some of it today. So I guess what all of that means is that, as of right now, I am the ranking officer of this vessel. I suppose I remember just as much as anybody else, which is none, so it's not like I feel underqualified compared to anybody else. But, it's still kind of unnerving in the extreme, more flickers in my periphery. I'm getting used to them now. They don't bother me as much. Like I said last night, they don't feel like they're out of place. I just don't know what they are, and that bothers me. Anyway, back onto the topic at hand. The currently wakeful crew consists of myself, Officer Miller, Officer Smith, and Dr. Joanna Reimer, and the psychiatric specialist, Dr. Keene. We really have no idea why we're out here, but hopefully today we can wake someone up who will remember and has some answers for us. Maybe the memory loss is just a weird side effect of the emergency wake-up procedure, but hopefully that means we can fix it. Also on the agenda today is, you don't know. He's distracting flickers. God. But, also on today's agenda is we're all five of us are going to get a checkup from Miller. And I guess she's going to give herself a checkup since she's one of the five of us. There is a diagnostics machine, thank God. So, not a lot of hands-on stuff. Just a couple of scans. She says she should have done it yesterday, but it'll be fine as long as we're all done by like 2 p.m. today. So, there's that. Other than that, not a lot to report. I'll check back in later. After my checkup, I'm planning on heading up to the bridge and seeing if I can't access anything in there, information-wise. Anywho, until then, Security Officer Axel Rodelheimer, signing off. Computer, stop recording. Alright, so, weird things, really weird, concerning things. Not with the checkup so much, but on the bridge. There was a notification on the panel for the security officer, who is me. I still gotta get used to that, I guess. But we just made course adjustments for a rendezvous with some sort of object, stellar object designator, Delta Alpha, Delta, computer?
Yes, Officer Axel?
What was the designation of, the object we're supposed to be heading for?
That would be Stellar Object Delta Alpha Niner Niner 2370 Beta, Officer Axel.
Yeah, that. So anyway, I don't know what it is. Don't know what we're supposed to do with it, except that we're on a retrieval intercept vector. So apparently we're supposed to intercept and retrieve it? Not really sure how that's going to work. I have talked to Charlie, and he seems to remember some sort of automated robotic arm in an airlock compartment adjacent to the aft cargo bay. So he thinks that probably the arm will retrieve the object and bring it directly into there. Of course, I asked the computer for information, and it said, "I'm sorry, Security Officer Rodelheimer, but I can't tell you anything because the corporate gods have proclaimed that any relevant information pertaining to operations involving this weirdly named ship are strictly classified at a higher security level than the very officer who is in charge of security.
I said nothing much like that at all, Axel.
I really don't care that much. It's the thought that counts, okay? Computer, it's the thought. It's the principle of the thing, more than the thing itself, okay? Anyway, so yeah, yet another mystery to add to the pile of mysteries. On top of that, when it occurred to me to try the long-range communications, I was barred access to any communications logs or records. Not having any idea where to send a tight beam communique, I just sent a bunch of them in several cardinal directions. Probably not the best way to do it, but, you know, I'm not a comms officer. Anyway, long-range comms are coded by default, so hopefully no, rival corporate entity picks the transmissions up and decides that what basically amounts to a distress signal is an invitation to attack us. The Salt's got some reasonable fighting capability, but it's mostly point defense and anti-missile systems, so, you know, very little by the way of ship-to-ship offensive weaponry that we could use to actually beat off a determined attacker. I really don't anticipate getting an answer, honestly. I sent Charlie to checking over our comm systems in the meantime, making sure we can still actually send and receive at all, since the computer says that comm systems diagnostics are also off limits to us for whatever reason the corporate gods deem fit. On a different note, getting off that high horse, everyone came out of their medical checkups looking good, so that's an encouraging thing. We all showed some minor neurological anomalies, most likely related to our memory loss, but nothing that we have the ability to fix. At the very least, Miller said that it didn't look like anything that was going to get any worse, so yeah. That was nice. Hey, buddy, something's wrong with your brain, but don't worry. It probably won't get any worse than not remembering anything about yourself, you know. I have scars. I don't even know where they came from. Some of them are huge, like... It's like I've been stabbed in the chest. You would think you would remember being stabbed in the chest. You'd think it would ache every now and again, right? It's a big-ass scar. Big enough that Miller was confused as to how it could be so huge and ugly. You know, modern medical technology and all that, we shouldn't have big-ass ugly scars across our chest and arms and... Maybe I've been in combat before. I feel like I should remember that. Keen says if I have been, I may be lucky. Maybe I dodged some baggage. I personally think that's just kind of a screwed up way to look at it, but... I don't know. I'd rather have baggage than nothing. Right? Anyway. We still can't figure out how to wake up any of the crew, which is another task that the computer has proven itself to be very unhelpful with. A check of the stasis system's log showed us, informed us that look, we've got a lot of deceased. 37 to be exact. luckily, their pods are all closed and sealed. So at least, even though their occupants are deceased, we're not going to have to deal with their, God, that sounds calloused. To deal with their bodies, or the smell for a while, so we can avoid that and pretend that they're just, sleeping. Yeah, they're all just sleeping a little deeper than everyone else. Nothing more, nothing less. Just sleeping. I mean, what am I supposed to feel? I don't know any of these people. I don't know anything about them. They aren't good, they aren't bad, they just are. Or aren't, as it were. God, does that sound as messed up as it feels? But shit. Or flickers. Damn it. I am concerned that should we manage to wake anybody else up, they might be less stable than the rest of us. Like I said, I really would prefer not to use the gun, but I will, if I have to. I think. I hope. But I'd rather not have to use it. Anyway, I don't know what this object is, but shit! This flickering in my periphery. Why? What the hell does it want? It's like smoke, curling smoke, wispy, drifting, but when I look at it, it's not like it's not there. It's not like it disappears. No, it moves away, like it's managing to just keep at the edge of my vision, hiding, watching, always watching. Am I losing my mind? God! Go away! Go away! Computers, stop recording! Okay, I'm feeling a little better now. Suffering from a little bit of a headache, and everything still aches a lot from yesterday. But other than the general sense of unease that pervades the entirety of this ship, I mean, there's not a lot going horribly wrong, I guess. No alarms blaring, no impact alerts, no pirates. Artificial gravity is up and running everywhere, and we have air. So, that's a plus, major plus. Everything's unnerving. Something's not right. I mean, beyond not being able to remember anything. Hold on. Give me, that's someone at the door. That's what that sound means. Computer, pause recording. Okay, so that was the psych specialist, Dr. Keene. I'm actually feeling a lot better. She has this weird soothing effect when she's around, very calming. She was raising some concerns about the continued mental health of the crew. All 5 of us, herself included. Something about the trauma of, not having a gosh darn clue what the hell is going on, or who you are, or where you came from, or how you got where you are, or even where you are, or why you are where you are, or just what the hell in general. But like me, she's concerned about the fact that we can't access any navigational logs or anything that would tell us what year it is, or what year we left, or where we left from. The computer, while personable, has continued to be very unhelpful in that regard. She suggests that we search through the systems for some sort of entertainment database, something that would have some movies, preferably something of the fantasy genre, in order for there to be a very large disconnect from our current situation. She suggests that having a movie night would be a good idea as a way to help maintain morale. I can't see any reason not to, as long as it doesn't prevent us from keeping the damned thing from blowing up. The damned thing being this place. God, my thoughts are so out of it again already. I could think a moment before. These flickers driving me crazy. I keep trying to ask out loud, did you see that? But, like there's someone else in here who'd hear me, but there isn't. Right? The computer really doesn't count. It's not really here. Its presence is, philosophically dubious. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. The plan for tomorrow is to see about figuring out how much food we have. Should be enough for a long while, reasonably, but we still want to check on that and make sure. Dinner's in a few, and I, don't honestly plan on making another log tonight. But if anything happens, I'll make an update. So, for now, this is today's Security Officer Axel Rodelheimer of the RGD Pillar of Salt, signing off. Computer, end recording.
Thank you for listening to the Pillar of Salt podcast. This episode, entitled Just Sleeping, featured me, Cody Hilson, as the voice of Security Officer Axel, and Josiah Savage as the voice of the shipboard computer. This episode also featured an original score by the infallible Josiah Savage and audio mixing by the immortal Michelle Fuller. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review letting us know what you thought, and keep an eye out for episode 3, Taking Stock, which will release in about 2 weeks. In the meantime, you can follow our Facebook group, RGD Pillar of Salt, for updates and announcements about the show. Having trouble accessing vital information that the corporate gods deemed too highly classified for you? Head on over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Pillar of Salt. Our patrons get access to exclusive content like concept art, episode transcripts, and even early access to new episodes. Well, that's about it for today. See you around the ship, and try to keep a grip on yourself aboard the Pillar of Salt.